Okay, so we're going to be talking about mocks as our festival. That'll be fun.
So when are mocks?
When are our mocks?
Straight after the holidays.
First day back.
The Christmas holidays as well. Meaning that, especially for those who don't celebrate Christmas. For the people that do celebrate Christmas, they may not be able to celebrate it as they would like to.
Tough holiday ahead,
But they could be more than mocks. We could go into a lockdown. It is meant to be really like the cases. Obviously, I'm not sure about the actual variant in terms of people's health, but I saw this graph and it was like compared to all the other variants, this Omicron one, like the infection rate's a lot greater.
That was actually scaring me, I can't lie.
Yeah. What if
they said there would be like 50,000 deaths.
Yeah. You have to even think, are we even going to have mocks because of this? Are they
No, but I think the government, given what's happened the last 2 years, they're definitely going to make us come in. Because I believe that last year, when they did go into lockdown in January, they still brought year 11s in their mocks.
Yeah.
And then for tests as well after the mocks. So I can't see the mocks being like that big tests. But they might, exactly. They might still play some part if you don't do the actual public exams, but we'll definitely have tests in between.
Would we rather have mocks or teacher SS grades, or what are we thinking?
What?
I think exams.
I prefer exams.
No, but I think the thing is, with teacher SS grades in the past, sometimes, especially last year, they were based off of exams.
Yeah.
And this year, if we were to get them, we would again be based off of our exams. They're trying to get us to do several rounds of mocks so that they can give us teacher assessed grades and it's not as skewed as personal bias and opinion. So there's obviously that aspect.
Bear in mind, last year when they didn't have public exams and it was based off of teachers, the grades were inflated. So realistically, there's a higher chance of.
Do you think that affects us though as a grammar school?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think it will. I think grade inflation especially,
I was looking at the school website and last year and the year before, the grades were so much higher than previous year. Yeah.
So then maybe we do want a lockdown.
Maybe.
Perhaps. But obviously with coursework subjects, art and tech specifically, music to a lesser degree, but you're going to be missing out, obviously, if there's a lockdown. I mean, I'm thinking about my NEA.
What's the NEA? What's it like?
What's it like?
Well, it's pretty much just making a whole product from scratch. They give you 3 rough contexts. So this year it was keeping fit and active, outdoor living, and preparing for emergencies. And from that you have to come up with your own research, make your own specification, your own ideas, and come up with a final design. And we've had about, I'd say, 5 months to do all of it so far.
Do you know, after anyone, if after the NEA they've had this product, it's actually
gone
a genuine thing, and they've sold it. And but has anyone done that?
Has anyone?
That's what you were talking about with Arkwright, that specific products that they submit for their Arkwright, because Arkwright is only for people in their GCSE year.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Arkwright is an engineering scholarship that's offered to the whole school, or not even the whole school. It's a national thing, I believe.
Yeah.
And from that, you can use it as a good foundation to network with companies or to be able to actually make your ideas into reality, because they give you funding. I think it's about £600.
Is there rounds though, or how many people get it?
So in our school, in the history of our school doing this competition, probably about 2 or 3 people have gone in. I think it was 2 last year.
And then there was quite a few 2-3 years ago, I believe.
No, well, perhaps.
See, art is different. Art is really different. Art is.
It's expressive.
Yeah, very expressive. Art is you're either doing something which is led by your teacher, as in your teacher will sit down and be like, okay, we're doing this topic, do these techniques, or you're just on your own.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think with COVID, it's just portfolio, right?
Yeah.
No exam. Now the art exam,
I would prefer it honestly, because I feel like all the other schools, state schools, they spend a lot more time on their art.
Yeah, that's
true. Have you seen
our school's portfolio book is considerably more thin.
Yeah.
If you went to a state school, they're doing studies every single week.
The art teachers say that doesn't matter, but you feel as though it does.
Yeah,
but
very school to school.
Yeah, exactly. But with the exam, it's everyone's had this set amount of time, and it's not we're as people we're not very productive. We just get work done.
I think if we go back to mocks, because we have diverged onto coursework subjects.
Yeah.
Generally, how much do you think you guys can do your writing over the?
I mean, the school recommends 8 hours, isn't it? 8 hours a day.
8 hours a day.
Really?
No, because
Well, it depends how early you started.
I mean, what in the assembly they said was it you have there are 3 sessions.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
9 till 1.
9 to 1, 1 to 5, 5 to 9,
Yeah.
and then you should be working for 12. There's 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit unrealistic.
That
In
is-
reality, no.
I think
It
you can
is,
get
yeah.
to a decent
I
standard
think you
without
certainly
doing
have to
that.
structure your day. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way.
You guys got a revision timetable already?
It's so hard to stick to one because, like in my experience, I made one, and then you set something that's so unrealistic for yourself, and then, or even say you were to go day by day. I'm going to do X in Y subject, Z in like one subject.
Yeah.
And something,
You don't know
and
what's
then-
going to come up though.
Yeah,
in terms
exactly.
of your life.
Say, yeah, and then you miss something. You have to reschedule the whole thing. It's difficult. I
And
feel.
also, if you procrastinate a lot,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
spend an hour
Yeah, exactly.
delaying it, and then your whole timetable will be shifted.
I mean, you guys got any techniques you reckon to create a study space at home?
Study space. I'm a bit. I'll be honest, but I feel like me saying it is hypocritical because I don't. But I find that working downstairs in your living room, where like, say one of your parents has like an eye over you and like can tell you to get off your phone if you're procrastinating, is a lot more helpful than being in a quote unquote like really quiet space, like your bedroom where you're kind of free to do whatever you want.
I find that a bit distracting though if I'm with other people. I
Oh,
prefer,
definitely.
Yeah.
I prefer just being by
Depends on your
myself.
household.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've heard that people time lapse them revising, which actually helps to like.
Yeah,
keep them
on TikTok and stuff now, you get a lot of like lives,
Oh
and
yeah.
then it'll
Yeah,
just be
see,
them
Ravi
studying.
Shan.
Yeah, Ravi Shan, yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Who's that?
Well-
Tell us, who's Ravi Shan?
Well, he likes to blurt a lot, and he did his GCSEs last year, and he documented when he was doing his mocks, and I think
reckon he's smarter than Revision. He didn't get straight 9s.
I don't even have TikTok, so I wouldn't know.
He's in the better
What a
place than
mature
us.
boy. Oh,
he's even creating revision plans now, which he's selling.
Oh yeah, he sells them.
Selling.
He signs them live, I think, so you can see what he's written in yours.
I didn't actually think he was that small because he only has about 200k, I think, on
Yeah.
TikTok. I thought
Didn't
he
he do a
TikTok
meetup
videos.
in Hyde Park?
Yeah, there was a meetup.
Yeah, he
there
did.
was a meetup.
I've seen Revision in real life.
Have you?
In Chinatown. Yeah, he was getting bubble tea. I just saw him go downstairs.
Bubble tea is.
Were we there at the same
Thoughts
time?
of bubble
I'm not.
tea.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go
not a
bubble
fan,
tea.
Because so you have. I've had it once from Creams.
No, that's not the right place to get
yeah,
bubble tea.
straight away.
I'll
But-
take you guys to Chinatown one day.
Crimson is a respectable establishment, but that's
Not for bubble tea.
Yeah, not for
But
bubble
the
tea.
small like actual bubbles. What are they?
Tapioca,
Not
tapioca, yeah, tapioca.
I hate them.
You don't like it?
Nah.
I think you get them
actual
flavoured
drinks-
though. You can
yeah,
get them
exactly.
flavoured.
But when they're plain, they are not nice.
No, because one time when we went to Westfield,
Westfield, yeah.
there were 3 of us. I mean, there were also other people, but one of my friends, so Schweib, we all know him, but
Who's he?
you guys won't know him. People listening won't know him. But he commented that the texture of the balls feels like it has gelatin in them, and that scared me so much.
Yeah.
What's it
I
made
mean,
out of?
Because obviously I don't know what it's made of, but
Tapioca. It's
Is it not its own thing? Like
Yeah.
tapioca
Yeah.
is a.
I find the taste so repetitive though.
is it?
Like just the milk.
I've never got a milk
Yeah,
one
no,
though.
no.
I've only ever had the juice. I quite like the juice.
I think
one.
the juice
one's
is
really
nice.
Juice one, I know.
also depends where you get
What's
it.
that one juice you drink? Is it? Oh, is it flavored water?
Which one?
The with like bubble.
Oh, aloe vera.
Aloe vera. I
Aloe
love
vera.
it.
Now aloe vera is nice, very nice.
I've had aloe vera before, but I haven't tried the I've had the aloe vera flavor, but I know the brand do like a strawberry one. I haven't had that. Is that nice?
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's decent.
I mean, going back to bubble tea, as an Asian, it's part of my culture in some way.
Yeah.
Is it?
There's, I mean,
It's so popular. Yeah.
It's
It's
definitely
popular.
Masala chai. That's part of our
Yeah.
culture. You didn't even
It's,
try it.
it's like I did try actually.
What's
it's like,
masala chai?
Yeah, go for masala.
So masala chai, you might be better explaining
No,
it.
no,
I
I
think
think-
we made it. But it's just in the production of the tea. You don't use a kettle. You use a pan. You
Oh,
boil
right.
this in the pan.
Yeah, it's like
you throw in a
cooking.
bit of ginger.
Yeah.
Throw in a little bit of spice.
Decent.
Fun
Right.
fact.
No, it's not. But you do throw it in.
A friend came to my house for the first time. The first thing he came, talked to my mother. Please, could I make some masala chai?
Oh, it did not even turn out nice.
It didn't turn out nice at all.
No, because he overcooked it. The water all boiled off. It was just milk.
It was not nice. Bad first experience. I guess it's like getting charged for
First
bubble tea. I guess you have to get from a good.
I feel like there's something like Asian mum cooking is just a different level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like we're in the UK. We're running out of of the amount of people who can make food like Asian
Oh,
parents
definitely,
can.
yeah. I mean, that's a lot to do with culture. But
And on the topic of culture, we can go on to our first topic of the day, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Ukraine.
So, you said you want to introduce it?
Oh, okay. So I believe there's a lot of tension between the UK or like the NATO countries, so France.
Was that the US?
No, I think US dropped out of it, right? Oh, US.
Probably.
Originally.
No, all of the
Probably.
westernized countries.
France.
France, UK, Germany, Canada.
Yeah, we get the idea.
Ukraine as well.
Yeah. Oh, no, of course.
Ukraine not in
If,
it?
if Ukraine joined NATO, that would cause a huge problem because Russia would probably cut out all of Ukraine's energy supply.
Oh yeah, you were saying
And
Russia.
they would probably have a blackout because I'd still say, even though going back to the Cold War days, Ukraine's in Russia's sphere of influence because they supply them with energy.
Yeah, practically right next to each other, aren't they?
Yeah, but what if Ukraine did, pull that route, join NATO? Then it's just kind of like the situation of Cuba in the Cold War.
Is
Yeah,
that what they're
because-
talking about?
I mean, obviously,
I'm not sure if they
tensions
are.
aren't as high as they were.
Is that what is
No,
the
but-
is the topic right now? Like people talking about in the news? Will Ukraine join
I
NATO?
don't think so.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It's
Is
look,
it?
Vladimir Putin has told Boris Johnson that he wants immediate talks to secure clear legal agreements that NATO will not expand eastwards.
Oh right, I get that.
But I think that's in defence, so like in order to defend Ukraine. But from what I've read, it seems very similar to like something that would happen during the Cold War.
Cuban Missile Crisis?
Yeah, potentially, yeah, because even they talk about nukes as well. Putin mentioned that Ukraine have weapons that could cause a lot of harm to Russia, and he wants the UK to see them removed.
But you think that at that time, obviously nukes weren't as developed. Now we've got a lot of advancement. It's been globalized,
Yeah.
and so tensions have never gone down from that point
Yeah.
to a level where this wouldn't be a plausible
I
situation.
feel like we just hear about it a bit less now
Yeah.
because it seems a bit normal for all these big
Yeah,
countries
absolutely
to
normalised.
be on the cutting edge with each other.
But I can't ever see a nuke being dropped.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could not.
I feel like it's a
we
bit.
wouldn't maybe say it because we
Yeah.
No, but say between India and Pakistan, obviously there's a lot of tensions, and I know both countries have nukes. Say even one of the countries were to drop a small nuke, I feel like the country, obviously, that gets the nuke dropped on them will cease to exist, but also the country that actually drops the nuke, no one will
I
want to
feel
be
like proxy
affiliated.
war is the thing now. It's
Yeah.
just picking
Yeah,
two small
because,
countries and setting them off against each other.
Even though Ukraine was backed by the Western countries during Russia's invasion of Crimea, they couldn't drop a nuke over such a small territory
Yeah.
because Russia still claimed that they had lots of support from Ukrainian cities.
But I think because MAD has become so widely accepted.
What's mad? Explain mad.
MAD, yes. Mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adopted first in the US when the Doves and the other people.
Hawks.
And
Yeah, Doves and the Hawks.
Flying
Yeah.
government
Going back to
after
your
in NSCOM. Yeah. So obviously that's become like really popularized as a foundation for many countries, like foreign
Yeah.
policy.
It's just a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is just a fact now.
There was one thing I read. It was an opinion, I believe. It was that following Angelina Merkel, she stepped down from being the Chancellor of Germany.
Yeah, of course.
Like following that, Putin's playing his luck by kind of creating these tensions. Because if she was still in power, he wouldn't have.
I think that's entirely possible. So
Yeah.
Merkel was super influential, accepted, and some would say benevolent as well with her
Yeah.
policies.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I remember she took in a lot of refugees, things like that.
What do you guys think of Poland not taking in any refugees?
Oh, refugees.
Going straight.
Okay, so I feel like in some circumstances it is in the country's best interest. I believe, for example, South Korea, they have they don't have many human workers. They use a lot of machines, and that's simply because they don't accept anyone for like different races to work in their country. And it would be in their best interest to do so. But maybe for the UK, like the government already do run a big budget deficit, and it would just put them into more debt. Like especially when initially accepting the immigrants, but obviously later on there could be like they could have kids who like contribute a lot to the country.
Yeah, it depends who you are as a country. A lot of countries they'll make a decision based off the leaders of another country.
I guess on the topic of South Korea, I think Kim Jong-un recently suggested interest in a formal end to the war, or in principle at least, to the Korean War, which really hasn't ever had a formal end to it.
I think if we go back to Poland, I know we were talking about economics, as in like the economic side of
Immigrants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immigrants. But if we take it in respect of Poland, who obviously have had a history of having to immigrate out of their country because of events in World War II, obviously. So I think if you take that into account, it might be more justifiable to say that they might have a more lenient stance on immigration.
But
of course, but as in obviously it just seems like they would.
Fair enough. I feel like with immigration, it's not the most ethical, but in terms of for the country's best interest, they let immigrants in based on how skilled they are.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
Especially the UK, right?
Yeah, the Priti Patel had a immigration system, and I read somewhere that it wouldn't let her own parents like join the country or whatever. Something along those lines.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Even like say the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, his dad was a bus driver, his dad was an immigrant, and at the time, the country doesn't need him.
Oh, yeah.
But ultimately, he's churned out the guy that's running London.
I think it's quite hypocritical because they took lots of migrants in at the start because of the help they needed after the wars, because their economies were struggling. But now, as their economies are doing well and the Eastern world are quite suffering, they don't want to take any migrants in.
Yeah, I know, but bear in mind, it's not like they forced the migrants to come. Both parties were willing. The migrants wanted to come, and the country wanted people. Here, the migrants want to come, but the country don't want them.
I think when you get into foreign migration, if the country itself plays a part in causing that migration problem, take
that's a big
Russia,
problem.
for example, in Syria,
Massive problem.
then that just seems hypocritical. And I mean, it's not like I know specifically about what they're pledged to do in terms of upholding world peace, but if they say that they are, they're not.
Yeah.
I think even in the context of a pandemic now, we should even consider like the health side of it, I guess, because there are even travel restrictions for not migrants but people wanting to travel on holiday, and the fact that they're not even allowed to travel. Maybe the governments will use that as a scapegoat to not accept immigrants.
Talking about travel, I think yesterday the government got rid of all the
red
list.
red list.
It makes no sense to
Completely.
me.
Yeah, why would they do it now?
Exactly.
I heard that it was after Nigeria, so they red listed Nigeria, so no people from Nigeria could come to the UK. Then Nigeria turn around and be like, okay, we'll red list you. Which is actually quite important, because if you think about the amount of wealthy Nigerian businessmen, expats in the UK, I feel like that would have provoked a big response from the UK. And the reasoning I read was that if Omicron, the variant's going to be transmitting so easily anyways, why would we restrict other countries?
I think it's interesting about
Yeah. Even what about this one? I saw this. It was something on Twitter. It's basically in an opera theatre, you have to wear a mask unless you're singing, and then someone asked, so could I go into Tesco's without a mask as long as I was singing? They said yeah.
Yeah, obviously that's sparked meme culture, obviously.
Yeah, but there's a big mishandling of everything. But then again, it's so easy for us or for anyone to sit back and say, oh, they're not doing it properly, blah blah blah. But it's like,
yeah, obviously, managing this whole situation is probably one of the hardest things.
Yeah, no one signed up for it. Do you know what I mean?
They just happen to be in power.
Do you think meme culture affects the government? Do you think they hear about it?
You think
they try to play into it sometimes, and it just doesn't, especially in America, I guess.
Oh,
yeah, in America,
definitely. It's much more liberal there.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers Hillary Clinton Pokemon Go to the polls. That was a
low
point in American history, I guess.
Or even Donald Trump freeing A$AP Rocky. That stuff doesn't make sense to me. They should be focusing on social relief for people in poorer parts of America than fair enough, maybe A$AP Rocky wasn't in the wrong. Obviously, I don't know. I don't know the details of the case.
For another day.
But yeah, but it's like, yeah, people should spend their time doing better things. But then again, if they spend that time doing these better things, they're unable to make these like big propaganda plays that bring them popularity. Like part of being a president or prime minister, you need that popularity. You need to make these big moves.
It's like obviously Trump when he lowered taxes. Economically, that makes no sense. But he just did it to curry favour with the wider public in light of the upcoming elections. To be re-elected.
On that note, we have about 4 minutes and we have a group of United students coming.